So here's that tongue and groove 5-inch face boards that will make up the deck of the bed. I maybe should have went with oak, but it was unavailable and I would have waited like a month or two to get it, so it was hard enough getting this tongue and groove pine. Okay, so here we're putting the tongue and groove pine boards in. Wanted to go with oak, but I couldn't get them in time. It would have been a couple month wait for some tongue and groove oak, which would have been harder, nicer probably, but most of the stuff I carry, I don't haul a lot of concrete, stuff like that. Maybe a big tree section or something could put a big dent or crack one of these boards, but they're pretty strong after the tongue and groove goes together, and we're only spanning about 15 inches right there. So after they get in and they all interconnect, they're very strong. So pine's a little soft, but other than that, we'll see how we do with it. If I got to replace it, I will, no big deal. So shooting these self-tapping screws in right here work pretty good, similar to a Tech brand. Got a little wing on there, and you can see that actually breaks off when it's going to the metal, those two little wings, and then it sucks the screw in. But I got a number of them done here. I'm knocking them over with another board, getting the tongue and groove in, and then shooting screws down. So let's do some of that. Okay, here it is, cleaned up, tools off, swept it off a little bit. It turned out pretty good. Of course, it looks nice and fancy when it's new. It won't stay like that for long. I'll probably, right along this outer edge and all the way around, I'll probably just take put a bead of silicone and rub it down in there with my finger. But I'll let these boards sit for a couple days and shrink up a little more. They've been in my shop for about 2 weeks, so they've been moving a little already. But now that they're screwed down, we'll let them shrink in a little, and then I'll put some silicone right along that edge here. As this last board was cut, and there's about 1/8 of an inch there, in some areas a little more. Front and back, not too bad at all. You can see this edge here is good, won't need any. And over here, the first board where I started, it's really tight, so that'll probably move a little and come off of there. Either way, I'm gonna put some silicone around that outer edge and just keep the crap from going down in there, especially on this side here. It'd be nice, but otherwise we'll just let them wear in and wear out and see how long they last. Okay, so I thought I better do one last video on this truck since it's mostly finished, and I have been using it for about a week now, and I kind of forgot to do a little wrap-up video. God only knows when I'll get all this edited and put together. I've never done a video on YouTube before, so that's the whole next thing. You'll probably be watching this after this truck has been on the road for like 6 months or something. I couldn't even guess. I don't know how to put all that together and do all that, so I gotta figure that out. But anyway, 2023 F550 build, dump bed. If you watched all the other videos, and I don't know how many there's gonna be, I gotta figure that out too, but if you watched them, then you saw that I bought this truck cab and chassis back in April, I think it was. It is now July. The truck took me about 3 months to finish. Now, within that 3 months, there's probably about 3 weeks that I didn't work on it at all. Kind of spaced out in there. I had some issues waiting for steel. I had like 2 weeks at one time, and then I had at least another week at one other time waiting for steel to get bent. And there's a couple things I can't do in my own shop, so I needed a guy with a brake press. And then one time I just ordered steel flat out. It wasn't even waiting for bends, and it took a lot longer than it was supposed to. The guy kind of forgot about it. So anyway, it's done mostly. There's a few little things I got to do. I want to hang a box, underbody box, which will sit right here. I already have it. It's a drop-down door box, underbody box, like you see on a lot of trucks, except this one's all plastic. I didn't want to go with the steel aluminum one. I have bought probably like 5 or 6 of those in my life, and the hinges always go bad. So in Wisconsin here, they rust out, and plus everything's made in China, so the hinges are like the worst possible quality, and you spray them with WD-40 and try to keep them lubed up and all that stuff, but they usually fail within a year or two, believe it or not. I mean, to a point where they're at least not working very well. But anyway, I went with a all plastic one, and that should just pretty much last forever. It was cheaper even than the metal ones, which you would expect it to be, but the funny thing is it'll probably work better. I think it's about a 3-foot by like 2-foot box. It's sitting in there in a box. I haven't mounted it yet. So anyway, I also have a couple little touch-up paint items I got to do. The other day I took my first load of wood in this thing, a bunch of big logs. Took a tree down and dumped it in there with my tractor, which was actually kind of hard to do. It was a shiny new truck, and it was like a new pair of shoes. I didn't want to get it dirty or scuffed up, but it's what you got to do. That's what you build them for, to use them for work. And after I get a few dents and scuffs and scrapes on this thing, I'm sure I'll be over that fairly quickly. But it was kind of hard the first time, I'll admit. But anyway, we'll do a walk around on the truck here. I'll pick the camera up and I'll just kind of walk around, take a look at everything. You can kind of put together in your head, or if you watch the other videos, you know, you remember that it was a cabin chassis truck. Started all the way from the beginning, built everything. Besides like the hydraulic hoses and the cylinders and everything is hand built here, and scratch built, whatever you want to call it. I painted it, I wired all the lights, I did all the hydraulics myself, plumbed it all. I don't know, you name it. Built everything that was needed, including the cabinet. This is, I gotta do a little painting on the inside of the doors here. Other than that, I don't paint the shelves usually, but so I gotta spray these, and I can do that with a can. Everything else is done with a regular power painter, the painter of professionals. But anyway, so this is done. I got one rake hung in here with a PVC tube. I'm gonna weld a couple tubes underneath this shelf, so I don't have fasteners sticking up on this shelf that get in the way of things sliding in and out. I'm gonna weld a couple tubes in to put at least one. Put a shovel on this side, probably one facing the other side. That way it gets all the stuff off the bottom, rattling around in here. I got a trimmer and a blower coming in from the other side. Bucket up here, chain, a little bit of extra stuff. Just the stuff that I use on small jobs. Kind of like semi-retired, still pull jobs. That's why I built the truck. But I don't work every day. I just kind of work at my leisure. I get tree jobs, or I get a dirt work job with my skid steer, stuff like that. So, but anyway, I'm gonna hang some of this stuff, paint this door. I got a piece of carpet that I'm gonna lay in the end. I think both ends, maybe just this end, because this is where really all the, like the steel rattling is occurring with the shovels and rakes. I just take a short piece of carpet and kind of lay it in there, and it quiets everything down. Just one little trick you can do. Got my American flag on there, little sticker I had. But anyway, I'll disconnect the camera here from the tripod and we'll take a look. Some more bungees on there. Here's the mud flaps, which have some mud on them already. I put a little heat shield right here on this one because of the exhaust, of course. But that's just a real basic setup. I got the standoffs I built for the mud flaps. You may have seen already, but they just come out like that, bolt to the frame, hangs that mud flap, and come around here. There's the other side of the cabinet. You can see I got some stuff in here already. Spot for the blower to sit up there. Trimmer sits down here. And some of the stuff, like I said, I'm gonna kind of get it so you can't roll around. I'm gonna build a little surround for that gas can, similar to this, but that's a little tray that I always put a bunch of stuff in. On every truck I build a little tray. It's got razor knife and all little crap, oil and clippers and trimming line. And this is 50-to-1 oil. I'll have another, or 51 oil mix. I'll have another gas can in here with just regular gas also, but I want to put a little board in, drill some holes through here, and then put a board in and shoot a screw in from the bottom. And then this gas can can't slide around. It doesn't go too far, but it does move a little bit. I just don't want it to tip over. Once you get it filled with crap, it really can't anyway, but you can see that rake mount on this side with the PVC tube. And say the inside of these doors has to get painted yet, but other than that, the cabinet's pretty much done, except for some mounting stuff. And of course it's starting to rain here, which it pretty much does about 3 days a week, maybe 4 here in Wisconsin. Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Oh, also this truck came with these steps, and which is really nice. You don't have to buy them, it just so happen to be on there. So those came and were installed already. That's my DOT sticker on there now, so just got the inspection yesterday, as a matter of fact. So now I got to put my DOT number on the side of the truck so I don't get harassed, which I probably still will. But anyway, so this is it. I don't know if you guys are big fans of trucks. If you are watching this, you probably are. But that's kind of the journey of building this F550 with a homemade dump bed and a cabinet and hydraulics and all that stuff that we did. Turned out pretty good. Like I said, probably 2.5 to 3 months is realistic. Probably 2.5 months really, working about 4 days a week. It didn't work every day. I just couldn't do it like full time. So, and I probably have about $7.5 grand into it, in case anyone's wondering. I would say with all the steel and all the little stuff, the pump, the hydraulic cylinders, all that stuff, about $7,500 I would bet. But to have one of these put on minus the cabinet is probably close to 20 right now. And if you wanted that cabinet, of course you'd pay more, and you won't get the doors on the back like this. But I think you could get a bed. I got a friend that just had a bed put on, and it was like $19,000, but he didn't have a cabinet put on. I think he had like a 450, but it was similar in size, 10.5 foot, right in that range. This is 7 foot wide. And but just in materials, I got about 7,000, maybe 7.5, and then of course an endless amount of hours, or felt like endless anyway. So okay, that's it, and thanks for watching.